All right, it's 6 o'clock, and we'll call this meeting of the Pickens County Planning Commission to order. If you'll please rise, the Karen is going to give us an invitation.
Okay, let us bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come at this time to thank you for your mercy and your grace. We're seeking your guidance during this meeting and allow us to have a productive and effective meeting. Continue to keep your arms of protection around our county and the people in this county. Not only this county, but the world at large. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we'll have reading and approval of the previous minutes.
I'll make a motion that they be approved.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. We have no old business, and we have two new business. First, before we get into our formal hearing, we have a new board member, Jason Hayfield. Jason, welcome. Hello. I want to give you an opportunity to tell the folks a little bit about yourself and introduce you. Okay.
Everybody, I'm Jason Mayfield. I've lived in Pickens County my whole life. Just other than just a handful of years, I've lived on the Refuge Road in the Refuge community. My parents are Jackie and Judy Mayfield. My grandparents are James and Lucille Hefner. And looking forward to this opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Don't worry, Jason, we'll break you in here. Never fails. All right, we're going to open up a hearing now on RZ 190621. And I'll ask Bethany if she'll give us an overview and recommendation.
Okay, the applicant is requesting to rezone 100 acres from agriculture to rural residential. The future intent is to develop it into a major subdivision containing 20 to 30 private upscale vacation homes with 2 to 5 acre lots spread throughout the development. This will be a private gated community. A clubhouse and other amenities are proposed. The access, this is Highway 53. This is Mockingbird Lane. And then this is the easement that is going into the property. It's this parcel and this parcel. And as you can see, there's the surrounding development around it, or zoning, I'm sorry. It does have water running through it. And I sent you guys some of these in your packet that shows what kind of housing options that they are proposing to do, the hiking trails and things of that nature. And there's the overall development, proposed overall development. Staff recommends denial per county ordinance, section 38-181. All new subdivided lots must have direct access to and from a public or private road or to and from a county maintained road, state or federal highway. No subdivision, minor or major, can be accessed from an easement. In addition to this memo, I hereby incorporate the entirety of my office's file and the video recording of the Planning Commission's hearing, including but not limited to all witness testimony, in order that this information be made a part of the record and shall be available for the Board of Commissioners to review.
Okay. Bethany, was the only reason for your denial was that because of access?
Correct. Yes, sir. Because that is, you can't have one off an easement, so.
Understood. And I understand there's been some development concerning that easement. Who's going to speak for the applicant? Okay, and you are?
Would you like me to stand?
Please.
My name is Doug Sherrill, and I'm the owner of LDP, Land Development Professionals. My office is in Dawsonville, Georgia, 131 Prominence Court, Suite 140. We are proposing, as you've seen in the packet, some 30 lots, a minimum around 3 acres each. My client we have done soil studies on the entire project. And I guess that question here tonight would probably simply be the access maybe, and I'm certainly here to answer any other questions that you may have regarding this development. We're seeking access points now to make the county road access a null and void point, hopefully, but that is predicated on your advice and consent to move forward. The neighbors that we're speaking with and negotiation with are certainly, our understanding is they're favorable to this, but would like to know your favorability before they commit to us in anything with anything solid and legal. So that's why we have not acquired properties to have access to this piece of property. They were 2 50-acre tracts, as you've noted, on an easement, but we do have options for accessibility to the state route and would solve the county road access issue. So we would love for you to approve this with a contingency. And that contingency would be that we would acquire access to a county road. And we're capable and more than willing to upgrade and make that county road feasible and go through those steps.
So we got an update on that today, which was a combination of letters and text. So have all of the people that affront Mockingbird that would be necessary to provide the appropriate land to create a 60-foot wide county road, has everybody tentatively agreed to that?
That is my understanding, yes, sir.
And who was it that knocked on all those doors?
Well, I guess I would like my client to speak to that. I don't want to give names in the meeting or whatever, but there's negotiation that needs to happen. So there's nothing that's finalized. There's nothing that's in writing to us as far as a deed, a conveyance. There's negotiation that needs to happen. We just would like a feel-good, an understanding from this board. Can we move forward and negotiate that? And we're willing to do that, and we understand that as a hindrance to the project.
So you talked about houses that were going to be built. As a developer, do you intend to build all of those houses yourself?
We intend to acquire a specialty builder to do this, to come in and do this.
I noticed they were going to have all glass walls.
So the idea, this is a beautiful piece of property. This is when I first saw this property a couple years ago and walked it, I walk a lot of properties. I'm a land surveyor. And Dahlonega has some beautiful property. Y'all have beautiful property. There's creeks that are on this property that I've seen only in state parks. This is a very unique piece of property. It's a jewel in your community. There's no question about it. So the development needs to be such that the owners of these pieces of these sub-parcels can see that. And the idea is the ambiance would be you're there, but you feel like you're in the woods, even though the home is there. So the glass would help create that. And spreading out the homes and putting them on elevations where they don't see each other.
What about water?
So we will be doing either, we've looked at a private system, private water, but it will be a water system that we will do. Whether we tie into county water there or whether we run our own system and have EPD approval.
Other questions from the board?
That's city water over there, that's not county.
You're right, yeah, I think it is city water.
The
That's right.
2-inch line,
Yes.
so I don't think you're going.
We'll be drilling wells. If it's a 2-inch line, that will not serve our interest. Peter just reminded me that he did talk to the city about extending a 6-inch line to the project. So that we would pay for that, obviously, but that would be something we'd do.
Okay. Other questions for the
Who
applicant?
does that easement belong to, this register, I assume, on the property?
Yeah, so an easement, it belongs to whoever adjoins the road.
Mhm.
So there's multiple owners along this road who all have access to that road.
So they have filed with the county, or it's filed as an easement on the property?
It is, it's currently a 40-foot easement, if memory serves me correct.
Okay.
Is that how they access their homes now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The amenities, at what point will they be installed during the construction phase? I mean, is that something that you're gonna build a few houses and sell them and then get the money to do that with, or are you gonna do it at the model stage?
Yeah, so the investment would be, we have the phases in this book. We've shared kind of how we're going to do that. In identifying phase 1 would be all our project stuff. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I
sorry,
seen the planning part of it, but I didn't know when you was actually.
So clubhouse is going to have to be up front. We're going to have to do the clubhouse first. And then we will build as we go on amenities.
I asked a question, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Tate Reserve out there on 4 Mile Church Road. They ended up, they were gonna have amenities, they had big lot sizes and this and that, and they ended up not having the amenities and cutting the lot sizes because they couldn't get the lots sold.
Sure.
And I just, now the people that do have houses in there, they don't have the amenities that.
Right. This is not I do a lot of subdivisions. Been doing this for a lot of years. And this is not a typical product. This is going to be, when we said vacation homes, these are going to be vacation/second homes. These are not primary homes. The amenities are necessary in order to sell the product. You can't have just the product and not be able to have the amenities. So I can't speak 3 to 5 years down the road, but I can just tell you that the investment is there that requires the amenities to be placed for this to work and be viable. So your point's well taken.
What are the lot sizes?
We're going for a minimum of 3 acres is what we're going to work towards. That's why we're in the 20 to 30 lot max yield.
Well, according to your map, you got 1.9, 1.8, 2, 2, 2, 2.
We're going to try to be, depending on how I design this road and make sure that this road works and the grading of this road, I want to be close to the 3 acre mark.
Well, this is not a true layout of what you're going to do.
So 3 acres.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty good grading plan on the roads, but I don't want you to hold me to a 3 acre size. Does the zoning require a minimum 3 acres?
Rural residential doesn't.
1.5.
Okay.
But it would appear if you're gonna have 3 acres.
Well, that's why I guess what I'm saying is I'm saying 20 to 30 lots. So
Okay.
we would be in if I've got a 1.9 acre, all right, I'll be from there to 3 to 5 acres. I mean, I have some that are a little bit larger.
Okay.
I'm giving you kind of an average.
I understand the averaging. The map looks absolute.
Yeah, and it's pretty close. It's not far off. I mean, if we go forward with this, that is a pretty good representation of what we'll end up doing. It's pretty close. There'll be some tweaks, particularly along the road. Other than that, that's probably it. We've done some pretty good soil analysis, and there's a few areas I'll need to tweak the road.
Okay. Other questions?
There were a lot of amenities listed in this. Are you going to plan on continuing to manage it yourself, or is it going to be turned over to an HOA or?
Yeah, this will be, you want me to say that you'll manage this? You want to speak?
Sure. My name is Peter Vasquez. I actually live in Canton, Georgia, but our goal is to move here. And I'm one of the partners in the venture. Our goal is the amenities that you see, many of them are hiking trails, biking trails, maybe some other entertainments for the children. Our goal is to make it a family community where these people have upscale homes. We modeled it after a project which is located in Tahoe, California. So the pictures you see of those homes, those are actually real homes. Those are real pictures of homes that currently exist. And so on the amenities, we took some of the ideas that they had out there. There it's California, so it's a very high-end type of thing, and it's in a resort area. So we basically took a lot of their ideas and so forth of what they did there. They had a few zip lining, they had beautiful pavilions where they would have all kinds of activities for children and that kind of thing. So the goal was to provide, if you want to call it a sanctuary, where you have a community where these people can come in and their kids can play all in a gated, if you want to call it gated. It's obviously not completely gated, it's only a gate in the front. And basically have an environment where the kids can play within the 100 acres area and have all the activities within that area. So that's basically the goal of it. None of the activities or the amenities are anything out of the normal standard for an upscale type project.
Four-wheeler trails?
No, we're eliminating that. Thank you for that. We're eliminating that. Yeah. No, we took a couple of them out of there, like a shooting range. We took all that out of there. It's strictly going to be like hiking trails, biking trails, pavilions with game areas for the kids. We have zip lining in there. That's probably may or may not happen due to insurance and that kind of thing. So that probably get X'd out as well. So we just listed a bunch of amenities on there that the other project has, and of course we're going to deleting some of them, of course, because of it.
So the answer to that was you will be manager of the property?
Yes, we are also working with, besides our own company, we're working with a couple of people that are going to be working with us on the project. One of them, one of the companies, they manage, I think it's 178 cabins in this area. It includes Blue Ridge, LJ, I think Jasper as well, and some other places. They're talking to us, an interest in them coming in and saying, hey, if you need help with the management of the homes, please let us know. We're here to help you. So we haven't made a full decision yet. Our first goal is we're probably going to do the initial management of it. If for any reason we decide to do it over, we'll give a company that's got a great reputation. But for the initial process, we'll be managing the property.
One of my concerns was the airbud leasing and.
Short-term. I'm sorry, the what?
You talk about people coming in and leasing these.
That's not initially in our thing. There's private homes. It's something down the road that if somebody wanted to do it, I can tell you that from the people that we're talking about, the clientele that we think are going to purchase in here, I can tell you that majority of them will probably not. Majority just want to keep them as a private home. So I would be shocked if more than 2% or 5% had any interest whatsoever and do it Airbnb, any type of thing. Yeah, the clientele that would buy these, they're high-value homes, they usually aren't people that are looking for other streams of income from the home. So I would probably say majority are going to be private homes.
Define high value.
I would probably say a low-end home might be right around 2 million. A high-end home might be 5 million. And probably the sweet spot is somewhere between 2 and 2.5, something to that effect. I'll be honest with you, I recently attended in October, I don't know if anybody attended the Blue Ridge Parade of Homes. And I would tell you it was an amazing experience. And I was shocked at the values that I saw. A low-priced home was 2 to 2.2, and the most expensive home was 6 million. And these are Blue Ridge, LJ, and a couple other towns that I'm not familiar with. But I think there were 16 or 18 homes on parade. I visited every single one of them. I met with every single realtor, every developer, and every builder of every one of the homes. And kind of got a good feel for their clientele, which is probably going to be very similar to our clientele.
Everybody's trying to escape Atlanta.
They are. Specifically areas like Buckhead and a few others. I hear. I'm not from that area.
Okay, all right. We've got some folks that want to speak, and the entire Ray clan has shown up, I think. Am I accurate there?
Yes, you are.
Are we all gonna speak, or is one gonna speak for all, or?
I should speak first, I guess.
You are
Timothy.
Timothy. Hi, Timothy.
I
Come on
like
up to the
that.
front. We want to be able to see you.
Oh, okay.
We can also hear you better.
Right. I'm the property owner there on the corner, and the easement is on my property. It's 40-foot easement. Well, then the power company has a line down through there, so.
Is it underground or overhead?
It's overhead.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how much easement they require. But my problem with the whole deal is the ways coming in there. Because Mockingbird Lane is a very dangerous place anyway to pull in and out of.
You mean off of 53?
Off of 53, yes, if you're coming from Jasper to turn in there, you have very limited sight distance from that curve and the hill there. So people come pretty quick through there at times. So, you know, there's that problem. And Mockingbird Lane is not wide enough for two vehicles to meet.
Well, under the county rules, it would have to be a 60-foot right-of-way, and that would require a substantially improved width of road.
Right. Which is, again, going to infringe on my property.
But it sounds like you're gonna have to, since negotiations are underway, there's gonna be some exchange of value. They're not gonna take your property. You have to be willing to sell part of it, and
Right.
for that to be
So-
deeded to the county.
Am I correct in understanding that he would have to own the property to do the road? Is that correct?
Yeah. So he's got to negotiate with you on a price. So how, the utility poles, are they on your property now? Well, they're actually in the right of way or the easement, I guess.
Well, I haven't measured it, but I'm not sure if that's included in that
Okay,
highway or not.
okay. How far would you say the utility poles are off the center line of the easement today?
Well, it would be close to the 40 feet, I imagine. Right?
I would think it'd probably be about 15, 18 feet off the center of the road. You're talking about the paved
The
pole?
pole, the actual pole, the power pole.
Yeah, power pole. You're talking about the paved portion, right? Are you talking
No, I'm
about?
talking about the line going down to Robbie's.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's all right, that's all right. Toby's going on to this here, I'm gonna get him up here and let him talk.
Right, okay. But, I mean, I like that plan you guys have, that'd be nice.
Thank you,
Very
Tim.
nice.
Thank you, thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Which other Ray is gonna speak next? Who we got here? Which Ray are you?
Robbie.
Ryan.
Robbie.
Ronnie.
Robbie.
All right.
Come on up here, Ronnie.
Okay, now what we're talking about is the paved road is there now. And there's a 40-foot easement. The paved road now is a county road, but it's on private property.
Well, it's not a county road.
It's a county road on private property.
Well, yeah.
And that's where the trouble's gonna come in. Because you got, well, I'm talking about the Mockingbird Lane. So it's a paved county road on private property. The center line of the road is the property line. So you got Andrew that owns the left side of the road. Then you got Toby and Sandra. Brennan, she owns the first portion of it. Philip and Tim. And nobody's negotiating anything with them. So it's my understanding that the county just can't take their property because, you know, it's a private property on a county road.
So it's
I'd love
not a
to.
60-foot right of way,
Mockingbird Lane is a 40-foot right of way,
40-foot right of
and
way.
it is county owned.
It is
Once you
county,
turn,
so,
once you go around that curve to get to their property that they're talking about, that is the easement. That is what has to be a minimum of 60 foot.
I see.
So the paved road now is county owned,
Yes, sir.
so it's not private property.
County maintained is what I've been told.
Yeah. It's called a right-of-way by prescription, is what it sounds like what you have.
Okay.
If they
That's what I
maintain
can
it,
understand.
they own it. They end up owning it
Yeah.
without your permission, and they don't need your permission.
Oh, okay.
Because they paved
That's
it,
what
is kind of how it works, but.
Yeah,
For what it's worth.
yeah.
So where does that leave you, Robbie? You said you were against this. Are you still against it?
Well, no, I'm for it if everybody else is for it, you know. It'd be a nice, the road would be nice, it increase the value of my property, be a paved road then. But there's a lot of, you know, you gotta go through everybody else. Now, I'm not gonna go against what they want,
Okay.
if there's a way around it. And then the access from the highway, you know, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Really, you got, you know, visibility when you're pulling out to the left, you got 70 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not much.
Are you questioning that people don't drive the right
Oh,
speed?
Lord.
where they want to be?
It's scary pulling in and out of that road. I mean, if y'all could fix that, that would be great.
Thank you.
Okay.
I can speak. So we had looked at that exit off of the paved Mockingbird Lane. It is very tricky and not so much fun to do, and let alone if you're towing a trailer or something like that. The land that is as you're pulling into Mockingbird Lane, the paved part, the land that's on the left-hand side, the owner of that land is one of the gentlemen that signed the letter that are willing to do that. So my proposal was, at one time I mentioned to Ms. Brown that I had met with one of your county officials here, and they said, well, if you do the gravel part to county standards, now this person I understand is no longer working here, which is unfortunate for me. He said that the county would widen the main Mockingbird Lane. I don't know if that's still accurate or if it's not accurate anymore, but I met with that person. I said there were three of us at the meeting, and he said, okay, well, if you're going to widen the gravel section to make it a county road, we'll probably come in as the county and widen the main Mockingbird because it's county owned and county property. So we'll be responsible for that. At the same time, that same gentleman that I spoke with on the other side basically said we can run then the 6-inch water line from Route 53 all the way down to our property. And then of course we said, if we do that, you know, can we connect everybody that's on that road to that 6-inch line, because they only have a little 2-inch line now. And they said, absolutely, you can connect whoever you want to it. I said, perfect, so I said we can offer a connection to that. We also talked about running a gas line, and they gave me quotes for running the gas line, running the 6-inch water line, all on the left side of that area. To solve the issue of the safety coming out, can I show that? Since that area on the left side is owned by one of the gentlemen that is, you know, for the project, our thought was, because we don't enjoy coming out of there either. I have 2 copies of this. I'm going to share one here. And so this is the property that we're looking at to improve. So I'm looking upside down. So this is the main Mockingbird Lane that we're talking about now, and then it goes into the ground here. What everybody's talking about, which is a tricky area to exit, is this right here, because there's an elevation here, and so it's hard to see cars coming this way. So since this piece of land is part of a deal, our thought was if the county would have an interest for safety reasons to just come off of here and do a ramp this way. Since this land will already be donated to the county if the county so desires, and then we could have, instead of coming straight out here at a 90-degree turn, not being able to see over a little bit of a bump over here, then we could come over this way. And then you'd have a nice section number one, you have an ability to be able to accelerate, kind of like an on-ramp. I guess that's the best description, kind of like an on-ramp here. And I think it would be a lot safer for everybody.
So who owns this land right here?
This land right here is owned by Andrew Kinney and his family. There, you have letters from
Yeah,
them.
okay.
And so this is where
They're willing to give whatever
Yes, sir.
additional land is necessary, so
Yes,
that that part of Mockingbird Lane has a 60-foot.
Yes, sir. And if for any reason there was any issue on this side of the road with any of the residents, there's plenty of room to do it on this side. So hopefully what this would do is this would answer the question of access from the county road. If the county will allow us, to do this, we would love to do that. And then, as you said, donate it to the county, and then the county would maintain it afterwards. And so everybody here seems to be in agreement on this section, but we'd also love to widen this as well. Hopefully the county would participate in this one, and then maybe do it like if you want to call it an on-ramp, to make this a safer cut, instead of going over there.
How wide is that right there?
Doug, how wide is this?
Question?
This section right here, do you know how wide that is?
That's probably about 100 feet.
100 feet. And so this is where the water line would go, and this is also where the gas line would go as well. And we'd be happy to provide water and gas for all the residents.
Thank you. All right, I still have a couple of rays left. I have Wanda.
Robbie spoke for me.
I can speak.
You know, we've had that before.
We
where-
have another one.
Hey, I'm Tracy Ray.
Tracy Ray.
Yes.
Okay, Tracy.
Now, we've never spoke to Peter, or we don't, never heard any of all of this until now. But anytime you have a vacation home, it gets rented out. And now on our little Mockingbird Lane, which our property line actually went to the center of that road at one time. And it was made for the family to have access to some property that we had.
Are you currently on the paved portion or the unpaved portion?
Paved
Okay.
is where I'm speaking from. But, you know, we know how to pull in and look,
Yeah.
you know, but when you've got a lot of strangers, and regardless, if people are making a big mortgage on any type of home, I have friends that live in St. George Island in Florida. When they're not there at their vacation home, they're renting it out. So we're gonna have a lot of strangers all through there at any times. And I don't know if they're bringing their four-wheelers or what, you know, motorbikes. But that was one thing, the road itself being the 40-foot, and no one's approached any of us that owned to that center line. I don't know what Andrew, who may own on the other side, is wanting to do, you know, I don't know. And then my father-in-law gave the easement to Robbie and Vernie Jones because they didn't have a way into their property. So that's how that originally, and Robbie built a house, and then Vernie ended up passing away, and his children sold the land, you know, to Peter.
Okay.
That is, you know, just how the road even came about. It was originally gifted from my father-in-law to Robbie. So.
Very good, thank you.
I got one more question.
What about, one moment, there is Jessica, Jessica gonna speak too?
You know what, I actually do have a few questions.
We'll get everybody in order first. Okay.
So my parents own from the easement that Tracy was just discussing about, who Vernie Jones then granted to my parents. My question is how that easement comes about. I don't know if you can see that even really on the plans, but the way the easement goes down is down into a curve. My parents' house is right here at that curve. And then Peter has to then go in this way, straight into my parents', you know, front yard. How much access are they gonna need of my parents' easement around that curve to get into their property. Their gated community. What is that for county standards? What is that for HOA standards? What is that for any of the standards that are needing?
I don't know that we can answer that question here today.
Where is the gate gonna be? Where is the access gonna be?
So where we turn now to go to our gate, imagine further in, not there, further in. And then if for any reason, and we thought about this, if for any reason, because I know where your driveway is and all that stuff. So the other side, which backs up to Andrew's side, we would go to that side, not your side. So you wouldn't be losing driveway and stuff like that. We'd be doing it on the other side.
So you wouldn't be going to the right, you'd be going to the left?
Correct. You got it, exactly. We'd be going to the left. So you wouldn't be affected in any way with respect to bordering on your land, on your driveway, I mean. It would be on the left side. The large one would be to the left.
Okay. That was it for now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Robbie, you still got something?
No, she answered. It was about the gated part.
About it.
Gated community.
Good deal. All right, we have two more folks that want to speak. Dalton? How are you related to all this clan, Dalton?
I'm his wife, I just haven't changed my last name.
This is my mother-in-law and father-in-law.
There you go.
You haven't decided whether you're going to keep him
Yeah,
yet?
kind of questionable sometimes.
I've been in residential grading for about 16 years. And my concerns with the properties being put there is how is this going to affect the water runoff, the stormwater runoff? How is it going to affect them being downhill? Is the street going to be curb and gutter with catch basins that's going to drain to a retention pond permanent? Is it going to be collected on site? That's going to be as flow wells as these new systems has come in now at these houses to eliminate so much runoff. You put in a flow well per lot, and it controls gutter drains and the runoff from your property to not overrun your street. So in saying that, does the street wind up having curb and gutter after the 60-foot mark of the entrance, or is it 60 foot from 53 all the way in with curb and gutter with drop inlets, catch basins to control the water? I mean, there's a lot of things that I have questions about that concerns me for them, because I've dealt with things, you know, people buy a lot higher than you, they clear that area, it turns water on them. That's been there for 30 years. How is this water going to affect them and people downstream?
Well, you raise good points, and that's why we have the public hearing, and you've been recorded on all of those factors. And so part of what if this project moves forward, which we don't know yet,
Right.
the commissioners have now your concerns and information, and
Exactly.
I'm confident that the road department will look into that
Right.
and determine what needs to happen.
Right. And let me say this too. I'm not against the subdivision. That's what keeps me a job day in, day out. I understand. I've got concerns about how it's going to affect the family.
Sure.
How's it, not only my mother-in-law and father-in-law, how's it going to affect the other families? You know, are they going to have to put drains in Toby's front yard? Are they going to have to put drains at Tim's driveway? Are they going to have to put pipes in other places that's been not disturbed for hundreds of years? You know, how is this going to control? Where's the control point of runoff? I guess is my question. And the access for utility easement, is that included in the 60 foot? Or is it going to have another 30-foot easement plus the 60-foot?
Typically, they're in that right of way, that 60 foot.
I was assuming that, but I wanted to ask that question.
That's typically the way it's.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
And you said the gate was gonna be
Way in from where it is now. Yeah, that's
where
just.
the gate is you got now?
Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
way further in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That answers my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Man,
30 seconds?
yeah, 30 seconds. He's concerned because when we pass on, it's gonna be his. I know when we start this, and the gravel road, are you gonna maintain the gravel road? Because I'm sure it'll have to be gravel while the building is going on. It's not gonna be instantly
Yes,
paved.
100%,
It
yes.
might not even be in my lifetime.
Sure.
You know,
Let's
it
hope
could be way on down.
You look like you're in pretty good health.
Well, you know. But with the gravel road,
Yes. Yeah, it'd have to be,
you
because
know how the road is now.
absolutely,
The ditches are
Yeah.
just,
it's
they're
tough.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I've maintained them for years.
Yeah.
You did a good job
Oh, it's
recently too,
been
that's nice. I know.
But to dig the ditches deeper.
Yeah.
And put culverts in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of rock you're gonna have to go through.
Yeah. And you saw when and Tim's property, when that gentleman,
Right.
they asked us, say, you know, this culvert is now good. I said, how can I make it good for you? And he said, well, you're gonna have to put a new culvert. And I asked our guys, how soon can you put a brand new culvert and a bigger culvert? And they said, how about Thursday? So I told the gentleman, I said, how about Thursday? He said, sounds good. Thursday, the truck showed up, the kind of thing, we put a brand new culvert in. It's much larger than the other one. It's brand new and much longer, and we did it within days, I think, when they asked us.
It's gonna be like a maintenance road.
Yeah,
until
yeah, absolutely.
Such time as it's
Yep.
paved.
Yep.
Yeah.
20, 50, or something. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Toby.
I see you saved the best for last.
Because you and I go way back, so
We do.
I was saving you for the closing here.
I've just got, well, I got 2 or 3 comments. I've lived over there for over 35 years, and now's the first time I'm hearing that my property don't go to the center of that road. I was there when the whole thing was gravel.
So you're on the paved part.
I'm on the paved part, yes, sir. That's one concern. And my second concern is,
Well, why is that a concern? That you don't
well,
go to the center?
I wasn't told by the county, I wasn't asked by the county or anything pertaining. They didn't ask us about paving that road, they just came in and paved it.
How long ago was that?
Well, it was tar and gravel first, chip seal, what's called chip seal
Yeah,
first,
I
and
know.
that was about, how long ago? 15 years ago? 18 years ago? I don't know.
20 plus, because yeah, it was paved not long after I built my house.
Right, right. So it's been 18, 20 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's been asphalt now for what, 6 years, 5 years? About 5 years. And like I said, my deed says my property line goes to the center of that road. And this gentleman's saying that they can take it without saying anything.
Let
to
me clarify, well, I've been a county commissioner in Lumpkin County.
And I've been the same
And-
as in a great big development, a lot bigger than yours.
So if you allow the county to pave the road,
They didn't ask me, could they?
they were allowed, they did it. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm not taking a
I'm
side,
not trying
you
to
know.
argue with you, I'm just saying what I know.
But it's typically termed an easement by a right-of-way by prescription. So it's by maintenance. If they maintain a road, they own it. A county cannot maintain something they don't own, or it's a gratuity, it's illegal.
Okay,
So those are different issues, but,
we're getting
yeah.
beyond.
Getting over my
our purpose
head,
area.
I'm not over my head, but we're getting out of what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's scrap that whole
You have to talk to
notion.
the county.
No, your pointt's well made, and that's the value of what, you know, the commissioners.
Oh,
commissioners review all of our hearings, so they hear exactly what we've
Of
said.
course, this was about 6 or 8 or 10 commissioners back.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, my second concern, if I understand you right, you're going to widen Mockingbird to a 2-lane road.
Okay.
Okay.
County
Somebody
standards.
is.
To county standards, yes, sir.
That brings me to this question. Is the state going to allow any kind of improvements at 53? 53 is a state road. What kind of improvements are they going to allow? Is there going to be a decel and a XL lane?
You know how the DOT is, Toby, and yeah, I would think that they're going to require XL and decel lanes in there.
Okay, that brings me to number 3. Where are you going to get the fill dirt to fill that up to the left of Mockingbird Lane going in now, to the left? That's going to have a lot of dirt.
Is that part of what would be the new 60-foot?
Yes.
Okay.
If I understand what they're saying,
Yeah.
Andrew uphill is going to
Yeah.
allow them to use it or whatever. That's between them and Andrew. But,
So the county is going to have to look at all of that. The county's going to have to approve whatever plan is put in place.
okay.
And the county's going to require that it meets their standards. So
Okay.
who would be responsible for each of those pieces? We don't know, but the
Is that something going to be
county's got
looked
to have
into before this is approved or not approved?
I'm sorry?
Is that going to be looked into before this is approved or not approved? or what?
Anything that would be, anything that we do here tonight is going to be contingent
Okay.
on that issue being addressed.
Okay, that brings me to my final question, I promise. Does a development like that not require one way in and a different way out in case of fire or whatever?
Bethany?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
And what provisions have been made for that?
None that I've seen yet. That'll be a fire marshal thing.
You want to address it?
So that would be part of they can still use Mockingbird Road, but there just has to be a separate exit from the community. Is that what you're saying?
It's gotta be two, and there gotta be, you gotta be able to get in and out of it. So they can come in on Mockingbird and exit on Mockingbird, but there still has to be another, access point. Because if you look at those are cul-de-sacs in there. And I got with the fire marshal on it, and he said that 2 access, there would have to be 2 points.
Okay. Understood?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You didn't incorporate that in your plan?
Well, when I did the plan, we had not incorporated the access point on Mockingbird itself. So, but we do have 2 access points. One would be a service, and it'll probably, as I'm contemplating this, one will most likely be a service emergency only access, and one will be the main access. And I'll get with the fire marshal on the details of that. We may even have to sprinkle the homes, or maybe there's different ways to approach the fire issue.
All right.
I have one more question. You're talking about,
You used more than 30 seconds last time.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna steal my time from
I
you.
didn't use all mine.
Okay. You were talking about a service entrance now. So will the service entrance be a paved road or a gravel road?
Well, I think that's going to be dependent on what what staff wants us to do and what the fire marshal recommends that we have to do.
Okay. Well,
I've done it both ways on projects, so
Right,
I'm
that's
not
what
sure.
we're concerned about, is that not the Mockingbird Lane, the gravel
The gravel.
road now will be
Sure.
just a service entrance.
It has to be, a fire truck has to go down it.
Yeah.
So
I know
you
it
can
is.
imagine how it
You
needs to
know,
be improved
Yeah, it had to be
for that to
improved.
happen.
Gravel, but now we're talking about gravel. Hey,
Well,
All that's gonna get worked out.
okay, before
Yeah.
everything.
and I can talk to you about that.
Okay.
The gravel road is gonna be paved. I look correct, Doug?
Well,
Yeah.
well, he's saying it could or
Yeah.
couldn't be paved.
Yeah.
It could be just a service entrance.
I have, don't hold me, but I have a feeling that road will be paved as well. Yeah. We got a quote on it and having it paved and everything, and I think that'll also be paved as well.
Okay, thank you. My last one.
Promise.
The big question for us is that if the county would, it sounds like, or it appears that everyone's in agreement with being able to improve the gravel road. And if the county allows us to improve the gravel road to county standards, and it's, what is it, 60 feet or 40 feet or?
60 feet.
60 feet, whatever that
60
is.
foot right away.
Okay. Then, our understanding is then, once it's finished, it's donated to the county, and then the county at that time maintains the road after that. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, if I could address that.
Yeah.
It can be offered and dedicated to the county. The county is under no obligation to accept it.
Got it.
That's a decision that's made once it is offered.
Got it.
So that's not a decision that we make or
Right.
part of this process.
Questions, further questions?
One more. I can't.
No.
I got one. Has
Yes.
anybody contacted GDOT, see about getting excess and level cell lane there? With no more site than you've got, I doubt if they'll give you one.
So I have spoke with GDOT, and we have to prepare a plan for them to review, which has all that in it, site distance and whether or not they'll allow it. Typically, I'll tell you, if the county road touches a state route, they'll allow us to improve it. But that's up to them. So this will be contingent on a GDOT permit.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Further questions from the board? Do you really have one more?
Just one more.
You keep breaking promises.
When you upgrade the road, it'll have to be maintained for a certain number of years before the county would turn it over to the county. So it would be like a private road until the county accepts it.
Correct.
So it'll be like, 2 years, 3 years?
Depends on when they get one that's final plat.
Yeah, okay.
And there's generally a performance bond that's put up so that the road is improved, there's money. If the developer defaults, there's money for the road to be improved.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That was my next
That all
question.
goes in, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Further questions for the applicant? Do I have a motion?
There are too many unanswered questions at this time. I think we'll make a motion that we recommend denial.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend denial, which is to accept the staff's recommendation.
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Motion and
I
a
think
second.
we need more information before we approve something like this.
Further discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion? Oh, pardon?
I'm fine.
No further discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. All right, we will close that hearing. Of any board comments? Jason, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Good to see all of the Rays here tonight, every one of you. Is anyone Ray that's not present? We appreciate everybody's participation in the process, and it helps us get to what we believe is the right answer. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn, second? All in favor? We are adjourned.